If you're pitching investors in 2026, the game you think you're playing is already over. I'm Brian Hecht. I've invested in more than 150 startups. I've coached more than 2,500 pitches. And just a few months ago, I made this video about founder blind spots when pitching investors. But here's what's changed. VCs are now drowning in AI generated decks. They're using AI tools to screen you even before you get a first meeting. The volume went up, the bar went up, and their patience has gone way down. So I went back to this framework and updated it for 2026. Now, in this AI 2026 update, I'll show you the same 3 investor blind spots, but through the lens of an investor who's now seeing hundreds of AI polished pitches. And if you don't understand how this warps their psychology, you're going to sound like everybody else. So let's get into it. The first thing to remember is don't assume they're an expert in whatever your company does. So let's say you're a finance technology company, fintech. Unless you really have information about them, they may be an expert in that field or they may know next to nothing, right? So the first way to do that is to have a crystal clear 30-second pitch at the beginning to educate them on exactly what you do. So you can start to figure out what it is they understand. And by the way, I've got this workbook that's in the description, 30-second pitch playbook, that'll help you understand exactly how easy it is to do. But then the fun starts. Then you get that first question, and you'll be able to tell if you listen really carefully, do they understand what you said? And then what they know about that field. If they ask a really naive question, then you'll realize you got to take the level down and make it really basic. Or they may be a really experienced investor in fintech, in which case you can go ahead and talk shop and do all the fancy nuance talk that's going to make them understand that you understand as much as they do. So don't assume they know everything about your field. Start easy with a 30-second pitch, listen to their questions, and adapt accordingly. Now, I need to update that for 2026 because pattern matching looks totally different now. In 2024, investors were mostly pattern matching based on past deals they personally did or companies they knew about. But today, they're pattern matching against what their AI tools surface. Now, these tools scan thousands of decks and market signals. So when they look at you, they're not just asking, does this look like something I know? They're asking, does this look like the top 1 to 2% of everything my AI ranked just for this category? That means that the average good pitch just gets mentally shoved in the noise bucket. Your job now is to make the pattern you represent instantly obvious. This is a fast learning team in a big scary market with proof we can move faster. Everyone the AI is showing you, that's the kind of signal you want to send. So if you don't define that pattern for them up front, the AI does it for you, and you probably don't like the comparison set. The second thing to remember is that VCs always look for patterns. They may not be the smartest people, some aren't. They may not be experts in your field, but the way they work is they think about patterns. They're asking themselves, what other companies that I know have succeeded in trying this or something like this, have failed? Maybe they're ones he's actually invested in. And then they know the heartbreak of trying this space. So they will probably ask you a question. Doesn't X, this other company, also do this? Instead of being defensive and saying, well, they're terrible because they're not really competition and we're better and so forth, treat that as a gift. They are telling you what they are thinking, and you can then treat that as a comparable and a comparison and say, yeah, that company is really good at this approach, but we are fundamentally different because we have this other approach. And then they know where to slot you in the patterns that they already understand. And you're also slipping in how you differentiate yourself, how you can take whatever patterns they like and amplify them. And that's why your company can win. I'm glad you stuck around for this third point because it's so important and one that so many founders miss. You need to understand the motivation of the VC. So people think that VCs are sitting on their own little pile of gold coins, deciding who to give some gold coins to and who not to, but it doesn't work like that. It's not their money. They have their own investors. They're called limited partners in a venture capital fund, and they have to make sometimes just a few investments a year in order to return the capital that their investors have given them. And only then do they participate in the profits from the fund. So they have a lot of pressure on them to pick the very few companies that might return 10 times their money. That's just the way the math of these funds work. So they're under enormous pressure too. Okay, now let me update that motivation for 2026 because this is where most AI era founders are completely misreading the room. Now, investors are not sitting around hoping your AI idea is cool. They're overwhelmed and terrified. Their inbox is full of decks that all promise AI plus industry equals disruption. And their LPs, their investors are asking, are we in the right AI deals? And they know most of these companies will be commoditized in 2 years. So their real motivation now is very specific. Can this founder turn AI from a commodity into a durable advantage? And can they do it fast enough to justify my risk? That's the frame you're pitching into. Every slide, every sentence should be answering why this market, why this wedge, why this team in this window is more than just an AI story. And if you help them feel that, not just think it, feel it, then you see the same risk they do, and you have a credible plan through it. And you're aligned with their actual motivation. So if you can follow these 3 points, you are way ahead of the game versus other founders who don't know them. Number 1, don't assume they're an expert. Number 2, know that they understand patterns. And number 3, understand their motivation, why they're even talking to you in the first place. That's what's going to differentiate the founder who is kind of clueless when meeting an investor and you